All right, Sunlen Serfati. Let's turn down to the Democratic race. Breonna Keeler is at Sanders headquarters in Concord, New Hampshire. And Breonna, the big question, of course, is what does Bernie Sanders do from here? We knew that he had a good game, a good ground game here in New Hampshire. We knew that the very liberal Democrats in Iowa liked him. He didn't win there, but he came close. Where does he go from here? What next?
Yeah, that's right. I spoke a short time ago to his campaign manager, Jeff Weaver, about that very thing, Jake. He said this win here in New Hampshire was crucial when it came to building momentum. But, definitely the campaign realizes the terrain changes when you get into these next early contests, Nevada and South Carolina. I asked him how they're going to make sure they perform well in those states as well. Here's what he told me. How do you push through to Nevada and specifically South Carolina when the demographics really favor Hillary Clinton because of who she has supporting her in African American voters and Hispanic voters? Well, I think you've seen in recent days an increasingly large number of African American leaders who are coming to our campaign. Ben Jealous, recent past president of the NAACP, people like Nina Turner, former state senator from Ohio, Dr. Cornel West, and other people who are coming forward, state senators and reps in South Carolina who are stepping forward to support Senator Sanders, a call for a political revolution that will deal with issues of institutional racism, police violence, and much of the poverty and lack of opportunity we find in many African American communities. Is it enough to stand up against some of the endorsements, a lot of endorsements that we have seen from prominent African Americans for Hillary Clinton? Well, I think you've seen here in New Hampshire, we had a few endorsements from a few brave state legislators, but most of the political establishment with Secretary Clinton. I think in Iowa, I don't know that we had a single state representative in Iowa, the entire political establishment with Secretary Clinton. This campaign is speaking to people at the grassroots level of all races, all ethnicities. So, we're very gratified to have the endorsements we do have, but this is ultimately a people's campaign, and we're speaking to people one-on-one. So key to Bernie Sanders' message tonight, some of his big applause lines talking against Wall Street. And I asked Weaver about reports that first were broken on CNN, but really gained some traction today about Bernie Sanders raising money from big dollar donors for Senate Democrats, also accepting tens of thousands of dollars from the Democratic Party at a time when Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, other banks were donating. Weaver dismissed those reports as smears from the Clinton campaign and from her backers, and he said he expects that things are going to get very negative and nasty here in the weeks and months to come between his campaign and the Clinton campaign. And Jake, I also just asked him, are you going to win Nevada? And he said, we are going to try. That is a sign that he knows it is a tough road ahead.
That's right, Breonna. Thanks so much. And Dana, a few days ago, I was speaking with a former Clinton advisor who said, Iowa and New Hampshire are just not made for her. And I said, why not? And he said, too liberal and too white. And now the terrain shifts. More moderate Democrats plus African Americans in South Carolina, especially Latinos in Nevada, especially.
That's right. And actually, you probably shouldn't say and, but the problem for Hillary Clinton is even if she does as well as expected in South Carolina because it is more favorable terrain, Bernie Sanders has money. He's got a lot of money. And it's money that keeps coming in. And the next set of contests are a little bit mixed and muddled. And so some of the states on Super Tuesday, March 1st, are favorable to him. Some are favorable to her. So what this means is it could be a long haul.
It could be a long haul. We're going to have a lot more nights like this one. Anderson Cooper, back to you in Washington.
Jake, Dana, thanks very much. We have a new panel here of political commentators. Kevin Madden is joining us, Republican strategist. Amanda Carpenter, former communications director for Senator Ted Cruz. Bill Press, author of Buyer's Remorse, How Obama Let Progressives Down, host of the Bill Press Show, and Donna Brazile, Democratic strategist and political commentator. Donna, let's talk about on the Democratic side how the race does change now moving forward. Obviously, you have Nevada, then South Carolina on the Democratic side.
First of all, tonight, after the results are probably in, the delegate count will likely be that Senator Sanders pick up 13, Secretary Clinton 11. Because we apportion it based on the results, 15% is the threshold. The delegate count will continue to be close until one of the candidates pulls out. We go to 11 days from now on the Democratic side. We go to Nevada. The Republicans go to South Carolina.
And the demographics changed a lot in Nevada and
Absolutely.
in South Carolina.
You have a more diverse electorate. The electorate could be upwards of, 35, 40% more diverse. We also have a closed caucus in Nevada where you have to be a registered Democrat in order to participate, unlike tonight, an independent could walk in and get a Democratic ballot. South Carolina has an open system, of course, that will also benefit. And then, of course, Super Tuesday, March 1st. The political terrain is vastly different from the political terrain that we just saw in both Iowa and New Hampshire.
Bill, can Bernie Sanders compete in Nevada, in South Carolina?
I think absolutely. And I think he showed tonight he can compete nationwide. This is, to use his word, huge, for Bernie Sanders. It really is. He showed, I think he's a very serious candidate. He's a national candidate. He's going to get tons of money from his grassroots supporters. It's not going to be probably $27 maybe anymore. Maybe that average is going to go up. He's got those resources. He's definitely going to be there for the long haul. This is going to be more challenging terrain for him, no doubt. But he demonstrated tonight, this turnout, a lot of it. His message is, I can get people excited. I can get people out. The party needs that. He delivered on that tonight, and he delivered across the board. In income groups, every group income except those making over $200,000, he won. She won that one. With young people, and middle-aged people, he won every group except those over 65, and Hillary won those.
And those making more than, I think, $200,000.
That's why I said $200,000 a year. So I think the breadth and the depth of support, don't underestimate him moving forward. Just one final point, don't take too much time, but his difficulties in the South, yes, we recognize that because of what his constituency has been. But as he moves into the Midwest, into Illinois and Ohio, Michigan, he starts talking jobs. He's the economic populist. And he's going to talk TPP. That's a big problem for Hillary. Keystone and NAFTA. So I think there's going to be some very promising territory for Bernie
Also
Sanders.
problematic for Hillary Clinton and good for Bernie Sanders is when you look at those exit polls, the people who are looking for trust in a candidate.
Yes.
Overwhelmingly.
Overwhelmingly.
I think above 80%, I don't have the exact number right in front of me, but I think above 80% or 90%.
93 to 5.
93 to 5. That's extraordinary.
Right, exactly.